Hey everyone, welcome to the Apple Talks. In this tutorial, we will be creating registration form with validation. So let's directly jump to the project. Xcode, I'm creating new project. Let's name it as a registration sample. The package name would be registration sample. We will be using the storyboard and the Swift language. This is the view controller. Let's go to the main storyboard first. So this is our storyboard and this is our controller, and it has the view. So whatever the components we want to add, we will have to add inside this view. So first, let's start with the scroll view. We need to have the scroll view because user can be having a low resolution iPhone, or it can have the high resolution. So it could be iPhone 8, iPhone 6s, iPhone 7, or iPhone 13 Pro Max. So we have to support all the resolution. That's why we are using scroll view. Let's give the safe area from top, safe area from bottom, leading and trailing as a 0. So now our scroll view is set. Still have to adjust it a bit. And then let's remove this content layout. This is not required. So our scroll view is completely set. Let's recheck the constraint. Let's select the scroll. Let's select scroll view, restate the constraint. Everything is well set. Now we need to have a view inside scroll view that can have all of our contents. Give it 0, 0, 0, and 0. Manually just update the frame of the view. Then we have to give a equal width and equal height. Now this is the crucial part. The height has to be having a low priority, because this height should be adjustable with the content inside it. So now we are all set with the scroll view. Let's just try to do the dry run and see how does it looks. For the people asking question regarding the processor, I'm using MacBook Pro having M1 chip. It doesn't matter if you have Intel processor or M1 processor, the scroll used and the registration form will stay the same. So this is the layout. Okay, there is no issue. You can see there is even no auto layout warnings. So let's try and go ahead, add something. Let's try with the label first. Let's give 20 leading, 20 trailing, 30 from top, and might be 25 height. Let me give it the center. Welcome to Apple Talks. Let's just increase the font size, and we can also play with the font property. If you have custom font, you can select custom from here, and then whatever the fonts you have embedded into the project, that will pop up here. As of now, we will stick with the system font. I'd say the system bold with 22. That's it. Another label exactly below the top label, having the 2020, and might be the 8 pixel from the top with 15 of height. Let's name it as a let's name it as registration sample project. Set the color bit of light So we can have a really nice shade. No, not this one. Yep, this is fine. Let's see how does it looks. Perfect. Now let's start with adding other component. So first we will be require user to have the name. So in earlier days, what used to happen? People used to add their label here, and then they used to again add text field here. Now that is very bad practice. So nowadays, uh, everybody is trying to just avoid the multiple component, or you can say people like the flat and fresh design. So let's go with the simple and the fresh design here. We will just be adding the text field 30. Let's set standard height is 45, and the top should be 60 enough. Now the text field is all set. Now we will add a placeholder text here and enter your name. The font should be 16, and let's change it to medium. Okay, so that is done now. Now let's see how does it looks. Perfect. You can see some errors popping up to the Chrome when I just tap into the keyboard. That is because it's under simulator, and also I have not disabled the logs. So first let me go and disable the logs. Okay, let me try to give you a hint. For that you need to go to the schema, edit schema, directly select the run and the argument, and then go to the environment variable. Now there is one mode, os underscore oxvt underscore mode. Oops, and the value should be disabled. Make sure not to do typing mistake. It is disabled, not a disabled. It has to be disabled. Close it and done. So now there won't be any unnecessary logs. You can see there are still logs, but it's not all. The extra logs has been removed. This is just kind of warning that pointer is implemented. You just have to ignore it for now. Now let's try to add some more. I'll set the top to 25. I say the name should enter your surname. Now what are we missing here? We are missing the leading constraint. Let's add a couple of more imports. Enter your password. Then confirm password. So now we have some components available. So now if I can add, my name is Pulkit. Just ignore the keyboard because in simulator keyboard does not work properly. If you want to keyboard to be shown, you have to tap command and keyboard. Now if I'm writing PULKD, you can observe here like this is plain text. It's not converting to the asterisks. So for that we have to select the password textbooks and go to the properties and tick mark this one, secure text entry. You have to do similar for also confirm password. Okay, now you can see here it's done. So now we have the label, we have some of the component. What we need is submit button. So for that, let's add a UI button. Let's add a bit of bottom so we can take the scroller part also in smaller device. later on. Nothing is urgent now. Let's say 250 from the top. Let's also add it a 45 of height. Submit. Yep. Okay, now we have the submit button. Let's try to give a bit of styling to this. So what we have here, we have the type. We can play different type. You can see tapping, selecting info light will have the info button, but we do not need that. Info dark is also for dark mode. Add content. Add contact is for adding contact, and the close. So let's stick with the custom for now. Let's scroll. Here we are gonna play with it. So let's try to add kind of dark shade. This is too dark. Let's go and try to just give opacity to 70%. That should be fine. And text value, let's change it to the white. Okay. So now we have a really good button here, placing at the bottom of the screen. We have some of the components. Now one thing. Okay. Now let's try to add outlets. For the labels, we don't need the outlet. For text field, we need outlet. So let's name it very generic txt name. Is name txt surname txt password. It is very important to add a generic name because we should always follow the standard practice. For button, we actually don't need outlet, but we need action. So let's make sure to select action, name it submit form. Type should be your button. We need to select touch up inside. These are all the events that is available with the button, and argument should be sender only. Now we have button available here. Let's see whether it works or not. Okay. Oops guys, I think I used the wrong. It should be print, not print content. You can see the click is working. So let us go back and avoid. So first what we need to have a function that will validate whether all the inputs have been entered by user or not. To do that, let's first add a mark. This is basically a standard coding practice that I used to follow. Now let's create a function. Now I'm creating a function to check whether the input is valid or not. So now the function will ultimately return a bool stating whether all the fields have been properly added by user or not. So let's take a flag validate did put. By default it will be false, and we will return that flag. The first one is txt name. So let's see if txt name dot. You can see there is no function called as a trim. So what we can use the empty, but again it's not that because we are checking on txt name. We have to use txt name dot text. Then see trim. By trimming character you can use, or you can just use the empty, but the empty does not trim the character. You can do this if you are pretty sure that user has entered the value, and if you are not sure, then we can just use it. So if it's empty, then it will return the flag equal to. We are not changing the flag. I mean, let's try to make it more generic. If If so, it will say if text name dot text not equal to empty, then we will go and check for another one. If first one is empty, then we just have to return. If first one is empty, we will directly return the flag validation as a false. Now let's do the same for next one. If text surname is not empty, then we will go again and check for the next one. If text password is not empty, and if that is also the case, we will need to go and check if text confirm password is empty or not. Okay, so first let's try to, if is valid input, else failed. Here we can just set it as a true, but make sure we still have to verify the both password string, whether it's confirm password and the enter password is same or not. So as of now, there is nothing, it's a blank form. I'm tapping on submit, it will say validation failed. Let me add test 123, surname test 123, enter password test 123. It is saying validation failed. Now I'm again adding test something. It is again saying validation failed. It means we did something wrong, definitely. So let's go and debug out. Tap down. Okay, it's about, we should not have it here. This is the wrong. I think that's what we did wrong. Now it should work. Garbage value, let's add some garbage value here also. Clear the logs and see. Okay, there's a no log. I'm tapping submit multiple times, there's a no. It means we have passed the validation for the blank check. Now we still have to verify whether these two are same or not. Now before going so, if I want to remove it, then I need to do manually. That is, too bad. So there's a property in text field that will allow you to have the clear button here. You can check it out onto the Google or Apple documentation. That is very useful. Now first let's name, we did blank check for the values. Now we're gonna do the string comparison. If txt password dot text equal to txt confirm password dot text, then we will say the validation has been passed. It means user has to enter the both password and the confirm password is the same. Now let's go test. Now I'm adding my password as appletalksch123. Okay, and it is like, hey man, oops, it's saying it is failed. Now I'm again going back and entering appletalksch123. You can see there is no validation. So I think we are done here with the basics and registration form with the basic validation here. If you want to have a more generic validation like alert, then you can try sending the string with the boolean, and here you can just present the string into the alert. Now let's just verify the registration form into the smaller device. Let me go to the smallest one I have here, iPhone SE. It's taking a kind of time, probably because I have never used this one. Okay, so you can see the forms are here, but button is not visible. Let me just try to scroll a bit. Okay, it's not scrollable, so that is wrong because we still have one thing to do from the storyboard. What we did here was we added scroll view, we created a view with low priority hide constraint, and then we added everything. But the last component that we used was a button. We have to give it a bottom. That's the only way the view will be identifying whether he has to give how much height. So we have to go here Let me give you a bottom as 30. Now let's see. You can see it's visible. So if you have maybe more 20 to 30 text box here, user can keep entering and keep scrolling. So I think that was a very simple and very quick. Hey everyone, I'll be uploading this project to my GitHub repository. Do check it out and give it a star. Thank you so much.